Dear students, let's differentiate between a solid, liquid and a gas. Now let's see one first activity. Collect some solids like wood, stone, iron, tin and rubber. Let's place them at a distance now. Dear students, do you know what are we going to see after some time? What do you see? What did you find? Do you find any change in their shape at different places? This shows that all the solids have a definite shape. Now let's see the activity 2. Take some water in a bottle. Observe the shape of a water. Look, the shape of a water is that of a bottle. Now pour the water in a glass. The water in a glass takes the shape of the glass, which shows that water does not have a definite shape. Now, dear students, you should remember they occupy the shape of a container. Next activity. Like liquids, gases do not have a definite shape. They take the shape of a place in which they are present. For example, an empty bottle. Air in a bottle takes the shape of that. Then air in a tube takes the shape of a tube. If we have air in a balloon, it takes the shape of a balloon. So, bache, remember it does not have a definite shape. Next activity. Let us perform another activity to show that gases flow faster. Take 2 balloons. Dear students, take 2 balloons of equal size. Blow the air into one of the balloon and tie its neck. Fill the water in the second balloon and again tie its neck. See, the balloons are of a same size. Now loosen the neck at the same time. Air and water moves out of the balloons. Note which balloon becomes empty first. You will see that the balloon filled with air gets empty first. This is because air rushes out of the balloon faster than water. Thus, all gases flow faster than water. Next activity. Let us perform one more activity to find the difference between gases and liquids. Burn an incense stick or agarbatti in one corner of the room. You can smell the smoke coming out. Now go to the other corner. You can still smell the agarbatti here. We find a fragrance everywhere. This is because the smoke or gases flow and expand faster. Now we switch over to the next activity. Take 2 glasses of different sizes. One should be big and the other small. First, fill the small glass up to the brim. Now pour the water from the small glass in the bigger one. Is the water full? No. This shows liquids do not expand. A given quantity of liquid always take up the same amount. So dear students, let's start with the difference here. Let's see the first difference. The first difference states that the solids are rigid, liquids are not rigid, and even the gases are not rigid. Now, bache, let's see the second difference. When we see the second difference, we see that they have the definite shape and volume. Yes, the shape and volume cannot be changed. But in the case of the liquids, they have a definite volume, but they do not have a definite shape. Recently, we had seen it in the activities. But when I talk about the gases, bache, they neither have a definite shape nor have a definite volume. Now, let's see the third case. When I take up a third case, they say that the solids cannot flow. Yes, they cannot flow. But remember, the liquids can flow from a higher level to a lower level. And when they come to a lower level, they spread out. But when I am talking about gases, bache, they can flow in all the directions, like the fumes of agarbatti. Is that clear? Or you call it an incense stick? Now, next, we have the last one. And in the last, students, let's talk about the last one. The last one is that They cannot be easily compressed. Yes, solids cannot be easily compressed. बच्चे liquids के जो particles होते हैं वो थोड़ा loosely compacted होते हैं, quite loose than what the solids are. So you should be remembering they can be easily compressed than the solids when compared to solids. But what about the gases? Gases can be easily compressed in any of the cylinders. Liquids को अभी थोड़ी मुश्किल होती है when we have to compress it into a container. But still, gases में कोई ऐसी problem नहीं है. If they are in a big container, take a shape of a big container. If they are in a small container, they take the shape of a small container. So dear students, let's discuss the three states of matter and the changes in their forms. Do remember, the changes occur either due to freezing or boiling.
States of matter. I told you whenever I talk about water, बच्चे हमारे को water के बारे में बात करनी है. तो water की ना 3 forms होती हैं. Water is available to us in solid. Water is available to us in liquid. And water is available to us in gas. Let's try to understand. जब हम वाटर को कूल कर देते हैं, रेफ्रिजरेटर में रखते हैं, तो वहां पर हमारे को आइस मिलती है. तो वो आइस इज अ सॉलिड फॉर्म ऑफ वाटर, राइट? जब आप टैप्स ओपन करते हो तो जो वाटर निकल कर आता है दैट इज इन इट्स लिक्विड फॉर्म. और जब आप वाटर को गैस के ऊपर रखकर हीट करते हो तो उसके जो वेपर्स आते हैं बच्चे, दैट इज इन द गैस फॉर्म, राइट? सो वाटर की कितनी फॉर्म्स है? 3 फॉर्म्स है. रिमेंबर इट अगेन, सॉलिड, लिक्विड एंड गैस. नाउ बच्चे लेट्स सी लिक्विड, गैस एंड सॉलिड. यहाँ पर ये कैसे चेंजेस आती हैं? द चेंजेस टेक्स प्लेस ओनली ड्यू टू हीटिंग और कूलिंग. इज दैट क्लियर? जब हम हीट करते हैं या जब हम कूल करते हैं तभी ये चेंजेस इन वाटर अकर्स, राइट?
So dear students, to understand the difference in the states of matter, we have a story of a lady who has kept the water for heating.
Sometimes when she comes, she sees water का level तो बहुत कम हो गया and water vapor is coming. देखो कितना डिफरेंस आ गया. पहले वाटर ज्यादा था और अब वाटर कम हो गया. You know why? Because water exists in 3 forms in nature. Ice, water and water vapor. When I say water, water is a liquid form. Ice is in the solid form and water vapor is in the gaseous form. Now dear students, you should remember, water अपनी फॉर्म को या हीटिंग से चेंज करता है या कूलिंग से चेंज करता है. Dear students, see, on a plate I have some ice cubes. अगर मैं इन ice cubes को बाहर रख देती हूँ तो ये ice cubes अपना जो कि solid form में है अपना form change कर लेंगी and they turn into a liquid state and this liquid state is known as water. जब इस liquid को मैं heat करूँगी then this heat turns out into the vapor and when the heat starts rising up, it turns out into a vapor. This is particularly again changing its state and that is the gaseous state. अब water ने कौन सा state ले लिया? Gaseous state ले लिया. Water यहाँ पे evaporate हो रहा है. इस process को हम लोग evaporation भी बोलते हैं. See how the water changes, isn't it? अब ये देखो steamed water के ऊपर जब मैं एक lid रख दूंगी, एक लिड रख दी, इसको कवर किया और थोड़े टाइम बाद जब मैंने इस लिड को उठाया, स्टीम अगेन चेंजेस इनटू वाटर, राइट? दिस यू कैन डू प्रैक्टिकली आल्सो. पता है कैसे? आप लोग एक टिफिन लो, बिल्कुल गरम गरम, उसके अंदर हॉट फूड होना चाहिए, टिफिन को बंद कर दो एंड देन आफ्टर सम टाइम टेक आउट दैट लिड. आपको पता है क्या दिखेगा? ड्रॉप्स ऑफ वाटर. And this drops of water is known as condensation. Now बच्चे let's see the third form. See if I have some water और मैं एक ice tray के अंदर water को अपने refrigerator में डाल देती हूँ and I want to get a solid state out of it. You know कैसे मिली मुझे? जब मैंने इसको deep freezer में डाला थोड़े टाइम बाद when I check it out, it turns into a solid. And that solid form is known as ice. आपको भी ice अच्छी लगती है ना water के अंदर? Cool, isn't it? So this is known as freezing. What do you call freezing? Again, ice melts on heating and turns into the water. जब हम आइस को मेल्ट करते हैं तो ये वाटर में मेल्ट हो जाती है. वाटर को फर्दर हीट करते हैं तो ये वाटर वेपर, और वाटर वेपर जब कंडेंस हो जाता है ऑन कूलिंग अगेन टर्न्स इनटू द वाटर. Isn't it? Very interesting. So these were what? The three forms. Do you know now? Understand how water changes its form by heating or by cooling. So water changes due to the change in its temperature.
Dear students, let's see that there is a change in the state of every matter. Solids को हम लोग liquids में भी convert कर सकते हैं और हम लोग liquid को solid में भी convert कर सकते हैं. Liquid is converted into a solid on freezing and solid is converted to a liquid on melting. In a similar manner, liquids can be converted into a gas and gas can be converted into a liquid. बच्चे जब हम liquid को boil करते हैं तो we get the water vapors. So that is a gaseous form of matter. But when we put a lid on something, so then the water vapors again get converted into water. And that is on the process of condensation. But at times we had seen gas can be converted to solid and a solid can be converted to gas. You know, we have a dry ice. Dry ice directly gaseous form में convert हो जाता है. And then from a gaseous form on deposition, जब वो deposit हो जाती है, it gets converted into a solid again. So in this way, there is the reverse action of every forms of matter. Now, let's see the evaporation in detail. But evaporation is when the sun heats up the water in the rivers or lakes or the oceans and turns it into a vapor or a steam. The water vapor or steam leaves the river, lakes or oceans and goes into the air. Now, dear students, remember, when the evaporation takes place, it changes its form from liquid to gas. It includes the vaporization from water surfaces, land surfaces, and snow fields. Now, let's talk about condensation. Bache, when the water vapor gets converted into the water again, it is known as condensation. Water drops condense on the outside of a cold glass. These water drops come from the water vapor in the air and not from your drink. So the cold glass is cooling the air outside it. Now, see, एक hot surface था जो कि बाहर एटमॉस्फेयर में hotness थी और हमारा जो glass था that was full of cold water. The cold and hot when gets in contact with each other, then we see the condensation taking place. Dear students, do remember, change from gas to liquid happens under condensation. It is just opposite of evaporation. What is an example of condensation? Cold glass on a hot day. So hot surface and a cold surface meeting together leads to condensation. Now, dear students, let's see the sublimation. Sublimation is a process where solid changes directly into the gas without passing through the liquid phase. Do remember, the examples of sublimation are dry ice. Dry ice is a solid carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is typically found as a gas. When it is frozen into a solid, it turns directly into a gas and totally skips the liquid stage. So बच्चे remember, जब एक solid directly gaseous form में चला जाता है, दैट इज नोन एज सब्लिमेशन। और सब्लिमेशन के अंदर लिक्विड स्टेज गेट्स स्किप्ड अप। लिक्विड स्टेज के अंदर एक सॉलिड नहीं आता, डायरेक्टली एक सॉलिड किस में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है? गैसियस फॉर्म में। Dear students, now you might be clear that the states of matter are interchangeable. See, the state of matter may be changed either by heating or cooling. हम लोगों ने ये देख लिया, and this is known as a reversible or temporary in nature. क्योंकि बच्चे solid से जब हम लोग liquid में जाते हैं तो solid can be easily converted into liquid and liquid can be easily converted into solid. Same is with liquid and gases, same is with gases and solids. So बच्चे, let's try to understand. Water exists in a liquid state. When kept in a refrigerator, it changes to ice or solid form only by the process of freezing. Now बच्चे, ice is in a solid state. अब now when an ice cube is kept out of a refrigerator, तो temperature के अंदर variations आ जाते हैं जिसके कारण से the ice starts melting, and when ice is melting it changes its form from ice to the liquid form. Now dear students, let's see the third step. अब हम इस जो water है इसको हम heat करते हैं, right, in a pan. तो water और liquid changes its form again and it converts into a vapor. This is a gaseous form of water. So this phenomena of converting liquids into gaseous form is known as evaporation. So dear students, always remember, when we heat this melted water in a pan for some time, the water or liquid changes its form again and it changes into a vapor or a steam. So what is vapor? You know it very well. It is a gaseous form of water. So bache, the phenomena when we convert the liquid into gaseous form is known as evaporation. So dear students, do remember these three terms. Freezing, when water changes from the liquid state and gets changed into a solid state, that is ice. Melting, when ice from a solid state changes into a liquid form. Evaporation, when water in a liquid form changes into a vapor. So dear students, do remember, now when the water vapor or a gas is cooled, it changes back into a water or liquid, and this process is condensation. You should be knowing it. We had already done it with the help of an activity. I told you now to heat a water in a pan and just place a lid on it. And when you take up a lid after some time, we see the drops of water. Why so? Due to the change in the atmosphere. The cool surface when meet with the hot surface, then the droplets of water are formed. So this ways the water vapor gets converted into the gaseous form. Students, let's see to it. Why does your ice cream melt when you take a long time to eat it? हम लोग देखते हैं ना, अगर हम आइसक्रीम को बाहर रख देते हैं, आइसक्रीम इज अ सॉलिड, लेकिन जब वो बाहर के एटमॉस्फेयर जो कि हॉट एटमॉस्फेयर है उसके साथ एक्सपोज होती है तो इट स्टार्ट्स मेल्टिंग. सो दिस इज ओनली ड्यू टू द चेंज इन द टेम्परेचर्स. सो बच्चे, यू शुड ऑलवेज रिमेंबर that when the temperature of a surrounding is relatively higher than that of an ice cream, then it starts melting. So the heat from the surroundings causes the ice to melt. Now dear students, do you know solids also directly gets converted to a gaseous form? And when the solids get converted to a gaseous form, it is known as sublimation. Let's see some example. You can see camphor, you can see dry ice, you can see naphthalene balls. Yes, this might be the very good example for you. See, जब भी winter season आता है ना तो आप देखते हो वहाँ पर कुछ एक small balls होती हैं. You know what? They are the naphthalene balls. और अगर आप next winter seasons में इन naphthalene balls को witness करोगे, you know what are you going to see? There are no naphthalene balls. Where have they gone? मम्मी ने तो इन नेप्थलिन बॉल्स को स्टफ के अंदर वुलन स्टफ में रखा था ताकि मॉथ्स इनको अटैक ना कर सके, बट नाउ दे आर नॉट देयर. अगर कुछ मिलेंगे भी तो उनका साइज बहुत रिड्यूस हो जाता है. डू यू नो व्हाई? because when they were exposed to the air, the solids gets converted into a gaseous form, and this is known as sublimation. I hope now you are clear कि why does a naphthalene balls reduce in size or at times you are not able to see them? It is only due to the process of sublimation. I hope now the whole concept is clear. Thank you.